everybody. Welcome back. I was a little bit distracted there. I apologize. This is Monday night, 8 p.m.-ish, right here, youtube.com/GeekLad. You know what that means? It's time for the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Troy on duty with Steve on Discord. Steve, how are you, mate?
Mate, I'm very well. Just like one of last year's best games, it also takes two to podcast, my friend.
Oh, yes, it does. It does indeed. Hello, welcome to audience. If you happen to be new, I'll say that we are going to go through the games we're going to talk about that we've played this past week. Then we'll do the news. Then we've got the standoff, the best face-off with the best. And then we have audience interrogation. We come over to you and see what you've got to say. Be sure to put in any comments in the YouTube chat as we go, and we will definitely get you at the end. So, without further ado, where is it? And kicking off this week, it's our Call of Duty ongoing segment, whereby Steve and I are playing one mission a week because it was a slightly shorter campaign this year on Call of Duty. So this is mission 7, which was, I'm blanking on the name, but Steve, did you play it, mate? Did you like it?
Mate, I did. You'd think in a whole week of being able to play video games, you think I'd be able to play a full one level of Call of Duty. You would think so.
I would think so, yes. Not the case?
but I reckon I get about a C- for my efforts with Call of Duty this week. I did. The funny thing was, I actually played the level very early in the week. I reckon it was probably... It may have even been after our last G.E.A. podcast. I reckon I jumped on and did it straight away.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm maybe... If I had to call it, probably 70% through the level, but I am loving this level so far. I'm loving the banter between all the Aussies and stuff. It's been one of them. I've had a few laugh out loud moments as well. So it's probably, I said last week's was my favorite level so far because of that camaraderie and the sort of banter between the characters and the actual setting and just the mood this level creates. I think this might now be my favorite level. So if the game keeps going the way it's going, it's just going to keep getting better and better.
I'm with you 100%, mate. The game really does feel like it's building to a crescendo, and I agree. This has been their best level by far. I also agree. I love the banter. I'd put it up there with Guardians of the Galaxy in just like outstanding quality, but in this game, it's only in this one level. It's the Australian sort of mannerisms. They've just nailed it beautifully and very entertaining. Very entertaining.
I could play a whole game with this crew of characters. Like, this reminds me of like Battlefield Bad Company as well. They just feel like a more tight-knit group. Feels like there's a story behind all these characters I'd love to delve into more. But obviously we're only going to get one level, but I just love these characters. So yeah, as I was just playing this level, this is where the mechanics I think are at the best. I think
I agree.
You can go silent, you can go loud if you want to. There's no punishment either way.
Yes.
It's not telling you to play a certain way, and that's another thing I really like about this level. I think if Call of Duty moves towards this more of a wide linear storytelling-based gameplay throughout a whole campaign, I could be really into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big shout out to, I don't know his name, but the English officer there that travels with us throughout the mission. We give him nothing but stick the whole time, and it was excellent.
It's great. I think that's what makes the Aussies so funny, is they've got this character that stands out from them, and they just give him shit the whole time. I love it.
Oh, it's so perfect. And I'm with you 100%, man. If these characters or, some sort of take similar to this was a whole game, sign me up. I would love to play it. But as far as all the missions go, I love it. I think it's great. We've only got 2 to go, and I'm very much looking forward to how they wrap it up. But so far, Steve, any thoughts, feelings? Are you changing your initial impressions of the campaign? Is it better than you're expecting?
Yeah, I reckon it probably is better than I was expecting. I actually think and I think mainly that is because it actually is longer than I expected. Like a lot of these times I was playing these missions expecting the game just to be, I'm almost done with it. This is like, it'd be kind of good if there was more of it just to sort of lengthen it out and just feel like I wasn't just getting this like short cookie cutter popcorn campaign. But now that it is sort of feeling like it is a bit longer, some of these levels do seem to go on for quite a while and have different sort of parts to them. Like the last level that we played where your planes crash, you're in the jungle, but then all of a sudden you're like coming up a mountain with a flamethrower and working through that. Like it almost felt like 2 missions in one, not just one.
Yes, 100%.
And I can't speak to this level because I'm probably halfway through it or 70% through. I'm not sure if it does something different with this. But
no, this
more that.
It's one beautiful level, mate. It feels like a complete package of a level.
Good. So, mate, I'm actually really enjoying this campaign. Like, as I said, if it keeps sort of moving up towards this and it comes to a nice sort of crescendo at the end and the story all comes together, which I think it will, because it feels like we have
It
sort of been
could,
building.
yeah. There's
We started with
potential.
all that group, and it has just been, these are all essentially flashbacks to characters just to build their story, just to sort of create something that happens at the end. I think if they can land that ending, it actually could be quite a special campaign.
Yeah, it could be really great. My one question for you, Steve, you've sort of been saying it's longer than you're expecting, but I'm just wondering, have you changed the way in which you're playing it all? Like, I certainly have. I was thinking it's a short campaign. I'm deliberately taking my time. Are you in a similar boat, or are you just playing the way you always would?
I'm sort of just, it takes me a little while. Like, I am on heroic, so I kind of have to play quite carefully anyway. Otherwise, like most Call of Duties, like a couple of bullets and your screen goes red and you're dead. So, like, it's, generally playing on this hard difficulties does sort of make these campaigns longer, which is generally a reason why I do play Call of Duty on harder, because I generally do enjoy my time with those games and I like to have them last longer. Same thing I did with Halo. Like, I know it's harder and can be more frustrating playing on hard difficulty, but if I like something, I do want to be in that world longer, and to put something on a hard difficulty automatically makes sure that's going to happen. So
I hear you, man, and I was of the exact same mindset right up until launch title PS4. What was that? Call of Duty Ghosts, I want to say. Ghosts? That was that year, wasn't it? I think. We'll say it was Call of Duty Ghosts. It was that year in which they had 3 really cool cinematic big, set piece moments, those real Bond moments that the Call of Duty campaigns can have. And it was my bad playing that was, so I was kicking it up to the higher difficulty, but the higher difficulty was ruining the impact of those big moments. So what I found now is I kick it down to normal, and those cinematic moments work way better. So, like, I agree that kicking it up to hard will lengthen the entire campaign, but I'd suggest there's an unnoticed cost there of a reduction in some of those big scenes landing.
Yeah, I do see what you mean, because, like, it can take you out of it if you just sort of halfway through a scripted moment and then you just die, and essentially you're doing that bit over and over and over again. It kind of loses that impact that it's really going for.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
I definitely see the merit in that. But Troy, I'm pretty good at games, so I don't struggle too much.
No question at all, Steve. I'm trying to justify my laxing skill set. But my enjoyment of Call of Duty continues. So tune in next week. It'll be mission 8 of 9. We're wrapping it up.
I promise, Troy, I will definitely finish mission 7 and mission 8 by next Monday.
Very good. I did enjoy the way mission 7 ends. No spoilers. It's a good ending, mate. You got a good one coming.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
All right. And then we are on to my surprise of the week. It was, of course, the Rainbow Six Extraction launch week. It was, last Friday, I want to say, we got our hands on it. And it was better than I was expecting.
I was going to say, it was a surprise that you actually enjoyed the game.
Yes, I was, after playing the beta when they rolled it into, Rainbow Six Siege, very unimpressed. And I'll say the gameplay it's still not great. I'm not saying it's a great game at all, but the way they're presenting the data, the way they're drawing you through a single-player campaign narrative, but with online progression, it's the classiest way I've seen that handled. Like, you can compare it to, like, a Destiny XP progression or, any of them, Avengers, what have you.
Yep.
But the way in which, so Destiny's a good example where it's so confused, like how many different quests and journal pages are there and how many different subsections can stuff be tucked away in. I really get lost in Destiny and I'm never sure what I'm earning XP towards, whereas it's been really streamlined in this. So I commend them for the way they're sort of forcing a bit of a narrative into an online multiplayer experience, but the way in which the character unlock progression works is really well done. They've smacked that part out of the park. It's just a shame the game wasn't a bit better.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, I have heard there's been a lot of reviewers panning the absolute hell out of this game, and I've looked at a lot of YouTube of my main reviewers going out there, and they sort of seem to not like it or don't recommend it, or recommend it only if it's on Game Pass. But like reading through a lot of the YouTube comments from people, a lot of the people that are actually playing the game seem to actually enjoying it. Like, they're not saying it's great, but they're saying it's much better than what a lot of these reviewers are saying, and I think it's it can be that. For me, it was real hard to get into. Again, you mentioned Destiny. Because I've been playing a lot of Destiny, it's so hard hard to play something that's so much slower paced. Like it's going to that Rainbow Six kind of gameplay, the slow, methodical gameplay. And if you don't play that game like that, you are getting absolutely creamed by these enemies.
Yep. And that, sorry if I can. Sorry, mate, if I can just lynch in, that is the exact problem with this game. It's that fantasy, fast-paced movement of the enemies while you're stuck with this rigid simulation type movement. That's the exact problem.
That's right.
Anyway, sorry, mate, back to you.
That's right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, apparently the game is supposed to be and is better played in a real slow, methodical way. Like, you're apparently not supposed to get yourself into these positions where it is like Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Blood. Like, you're supposed to play this game and not alert all these enemies. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers go out there with high-level gameplay and play solo through it on the hardest difficulty, and they get through without alerting a thing. I'm like, well, if that's for you, that's fine. At the moment, I'm not in the mood to play something that's that slow pace with a lot of the games I've been playing at the moment. I can respect what it's trying to do, and it looks like it's actually trying to do a few things quite differently. The scenery seems very similar in a lot of the levels as well, I've found. There's not much variation when you think in a game like this they can create a bit more, but...
And so much of it is a direct lift from the game that's, 10 years old at this point, Hell Siege? There is not a whole lot of new visual assets.
No. Like, obviously, we panned Halo Infinite for having sort of indoors that look similar and stuff, but at least that had that open world for that variation, whereas this has just got these indoor levels which you're playing over and over again. And there's character progression, which you mentioned, which is quite good, and the way they do that, I think, is quite good. You do have that added thing of, characters dying and going missing in action. You've got to, it sort of pushes you to use other characters.
I would remove that feature. If they gave me the option, I would turn that off in a heartbeat.
I was going to say, some people say that's how it's meant to be played. It pushes you to play things. But if you've got a character you really like playing, you kind of want to grind that character and level that character up so the gameplay experience for you is more fun.
Yes, but I think what they're doing right there is you go, I've got my favourite character. I want to play him. He's on rest. I go, I'll play a different game. It doesn't inspire me to play a different character. It inspires me to launch something else.
Exactly right. So for me, I think that's something, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you can't, but I don't think you can turn it off in the game. It's just part of the core
I couldn't find a way. I had a quick look and there was nothing obvious to me.
Because I know something like Watch Dogs Legion, which is also Ubisoft, that's got a mode where you can turn that off and on, the permanent death mode in that game, and you can just have it, and they go on rest, and then that's not as punishing as something like this.
It's not, but that rest mode in Legion, that had me drop off the campaign several times. The guy I wanted to use was on timeout, and I'm like, all right, another game then. If you don't want me to play your game, I won't.
That's why I made sure I had 2 spies in that game, because I just love playing the spy character, because I want to feel like I was James Bond. But
I always had 2 of the drone pilots. I always had to be able to call in a drone.
That was good too. I always had pretty much 2 of all the characters I liked playing. But I'm not a huge fan of permadeath modes in games unless it is part of the game. I'll probably play a little bit more of this. It's still on my console. I mean, the fact that it's on Game Pass, again, that's such a great thing. I mean, the PlayStation owners are going to have to spend $80 to play this game to see if they like it or not. Whereas we can just install it on the Xbox. We're good to go. If we don't like it, we uninstall it.
Exactly. You're right. It's perfect for Game Pass because I've played it a little bit. I think I played 3 or 4 rounds in the end. It was okay. Like I saw enough of it. I leveled up a few times and I understand what they're doing, but I'll maybe fire it up once or twice more. But this is not getting a permanent place on my console.
Did you play this solo or did you link in with other players? Is this your gameplay we're watching?
We are watching my gameplay, and yes, it was auto matching me. Like I didn't know these people, but it was auto matching me to other people. But the cool thing was, unintentionally, I had crossplay enabled, and it just happened to pair me. I didn't have a headset on or anything, but I could still hear their comms. It just happened to pair me with 2 old blokes playing on a PC. They were the nicest, friendliest dudes, and I was just using the what do you call it? The talk wheel or whatever, and just, affirmative. Like they were talking to I don't know what their history was, but they had all their strategies down. They knew all the words, all the phrases and everything. Nice. And he was like, now, Troy, do you understand what this? I'm like, affirmative. It was so funny. It was a cool experience. It was, those guys were like, elite. I don't know how it matched me up with them, but they were total stealth units. Like I didn't have, to your point, mate, everything you just said is as I experienced it, but I didn't know any of that. And there was these blokes saying, now, Troy, the last time you made a bit of noise, so just stay crouched the whole time, mate. We're going for stealth.
I love it. The old boys playing games.
It was so good. Oh, if there was a tick box for that in game, I would always go for it as well. But my recommendation hasn't really changed for Extraction. Not a great game, as you said, Steve. If you've got Game Pass, give it a crack. But I don't think it'll be on anyone's Game of the Year lists. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the one gripe I did have, there's a scene at the start where you're going through the tutorial stuff.
Oh, Steve, stand by, mate. Stand by, mate. Discord has had an issue. Stand by, everyone. Sorry, Steve, you can't be heard. I'm even going to hit the BRB button. I don't have it anymore. Oh, well, we'll just leave it. Sorry, everyone. I don't know what's happened. Wow. I have no idea how long that was spinning for. I apologise to you, Steve, because I don't know how long they've been here. Oh, that's excellent. I must have looked up and seen it in time. What is going on? No, mate, I'm sorry. The computer I use for Discord is old and being very slow. Oh, here we go. All right. Now we're getting there. Boom. Okay. I think we're back. Steve, say some things.
Oh, mate, we're talking games.
We're talking games.
I'm coming through, hopefully.
Oh, yes, mate. Go for it. Sorry, everyone.
Beautiful,
my bad.
Beautiful. That's right. I was just saying that they had this yellow line came up vertical through the screen, and then my game would go back, and I could see I'm like, this looks like image burn-in. I don't like this bright yellow screen coming. I'm like, no, I'm done with Rainbow Six. I don't want it to cause damage to my TV for a game I don't even like.
Yeah, mate, you're right. That their loading artwork is very full on, isn't it?
It's very bright.
And so, sorry, Steve, did you just say you went hands-on or you didn't?
No, I have gone hands-on. I just did the tutorial stuff, and I was just like a little bit. It's very slow, and I just didn't really have the time to sort of delve into it much deeper. I probably will go back to it. I looked at one of the things that annoyed me. I couldn't see a field of view slider, and after plugging all my field of views back on Destiny even Halo recently to 105, I think I've got them set, which I think is a nice little happy medium. The fact that I couldn't do that in this, I felt quite restricted. Yes,
I agree completely, man. And you're being soft, buddy. 125, max that FOV out.
I feel too much like a fish if I do that.
I love it. Do you think you'll be going back, man, or did you say you've already deleted it from the hard drive?
No, it's still on the hard drive. I still wouldn't mind giving an actual go co-op with yourself.
Okay.
Just to get that sort of co-op feeling, just to see if it is actual fun playing with someone else. Well, most games are more fun playing with someone else, so I'll probably leave it on there until we give it a crack together.
I guarantee you it's a lot of fun, Steve. And I would suggest if you know someone who's really good with strategies, if you want to play with them, and I'll just quietly follow you guys along and give you the thumbs up every now and then.
Sweet. I'll hit up those geriatrics you'll play. My name's Bob and Paul.
Anyway, so Rainbow Six Extraction is there. Check it out. Oh, if you want the Let's Install, that's on the channel as well. But now, Game 3, Steve, over to you for Nobody Saves the World.
Nobody Saves the World, another game out on Game Pass, which is bloody awesome that we've got this service that keeps pumping out these games. I'm pretty sure Nobody Saves the World's available on PlayStation as well, I'm not sure what the actual price is.
Yes, I've definitely seen it on there, but I couldn't tell you the price.
Yeah, okay. So this is the next game by Drinkbox Studios, the guys that brought us Guacamelee and Guacamelee 2, which I think we spoke about briefly last week on our coming soon games.
Yes.
Which we both agreed we do love Guacamelee, and you told me that it was quite good co-op on the sequel.
Yeah, both, but yep.
Yeah, and so initially starting this game, I was a little bit underwhelmed for the first probably hour or so. It's just the combat's really simple in the beginning, and you're sort of just tapping A to fight. The art style's really nice. The art style is what brings me in. I really like the pop of color, and I really like Drinkbox Studios sort of art style in general. Like it's got a very similar. Like Severed was another one I played. I think on the Switch or something. I think I played it back on the Vita back in the day, which is like a first-person dungeon crawler type thing. And then obviously Guacamelee, and now this, which is more of a top-down dungeon crawler. Diablo meets Zelda: Link's Awakening, and all that. But I think after the first 2-3 hours, once you've sort of unlocked a few of the characters and abilities and you sort of start working your way around the world, it just becomes addictive. It's hard to kind of, like, it's really weird. Like your mind just switches as soon as you sort of Chuck, I literally remember just going back. Oh, I'll try and play it again. I jumped in, and all of a sudden, I was having fun with it. It was a weird feeling. But ever since that time, I've just been absolutely loving my time with this game, and just the characters I've unlocked and the abilities I've unlocked now. I've run through the main castle from the start of the game, which is one of the main quests.
Yep.
And I believe now I've done some bit of reading that soon, once you unlock a few of the different characters, you can actually mix and match the abilities from that character. So you get an archer, so obviously they shoot arrows, they're a bit of a range attack, and you've got like a rat at the start that can poison enemies. So eventually you can use the arrows with the rat, and vice versa. And you've got like
rat arrows
or poison arrows, and you've got like this weightlifter that just pushes a giant barbell at the enemies and stuff like that. So all of a sudden you can use him to like start poisoning people or whatever, and you can just mix and match, and it becomes this. And you've talking really fast because there's so many things in this game. But like the enemies eventually have like attacks that they won't get hurt by a certain kind of ability. So say
like elemental type combat.
Yeah, kind of. But it's really easy to understand. Like the enemies might have like a little green tag at the top of the sword, which means they need to either be hit by something with like a sharp edge, like a sword or a bow and arrow. But each character that you're using will show that emblem above their head, so you know exactly which character you need to use at any given time. But when you've got like tens or 20s of enemies like on the screen at once, and you can see different colors. You've got to be quickly flicking between each character to sort of make sure. But you only have to hit them once, though. Once you've hit them once, then they become a normal enemy. So you only have to just break that initial element. And then you can sort of hurt them wherever you want. So you can sort of say there's a few there with a bit of that need poison damage. You run there through there with your rat, and then switch to your ranger and maybe move away from it and just unleash arrows on them.
Yeah, right. So 2 points I want to make. The first one is I was completely incorrect. It's not on PlayStation. It's Steam and Xbox only. And
there you go.
The second quick question I've got for you, Steve, and it's a dumb one. Based on the title, Nobody Saves the World. Are you playing as the person stopping people from saving the world, or is your challenge to save the world?
I believe it's to save the world. There's like a grand story thing going on. There is a main character that is a wizard that you've been they try to kill you, but then you end up in a dungeon with his wand, and now there's all these bad guys. So I feel like you're nobody, as in like you're just a nobody.
Yep.
And you're going to save the world by turning into a whole bunch of different creatures and animals, etc.
I see. So nobody saves the world and you're the nobody. I'm with you.
Yeah, so if you're the little white guy, I believe he's nobody because he's just a naked little white weird-looking dude who picks up a wand and all of a sudden can transport himself into different animals. So you got to like use the rat to be able to get through small, tiny sections in the levels and stuff. So it does use all the different characters quite cleverly, and like they won't let you through a certain section unless you're an archer, so you become the archer to get through that section. And like it's just if you like Link's Awakening sort of style gameplay and dungeons and stuff, it's kind of like that, but meets Adult Swim cartoons. And so it's just it's fun. It's a fun little game.
How many hours are you into it, do you think?
I'm probably at 3 or 4, I reckon, into it now. So I've just sort of hit that threshold. And from all of the reviews I've read, a lot of people do say it does take a little time to warm up. Mm-hmm. And that middle part of the game is really good. Then it can slow down towards the end once you have unlocked all the characters. And there's sort of nothing more to grind for once you've sort of unlocked all the abilities for a character. So how it works is, say you get the rat first, you start off as an F rat. And then the more you use him and the more quests you do, so it might say kill 100 enemies as the rat, or do, 20 poison damage as a rat, and then their little quests. Once you do that, they unlock experience for the rat and for your nobody character. And once you rank up the rat to say level B, you might unlock your next character, and then you get the archer, and then you might rank her up to level B to be able to unlock the slug, etc.
Yeah, right. So, but it's all up to you. There's no requirement of anything. It's just play it how you like.
Yeah, so you can use whatever character you like. You don't have to level a character up at all if you like, and you can go a certain path. So the archer can unlock 2 different classes. And the first one, I think once you hit B, you unlock the slug. If you decide to not use the archer again and just use the slug, you're obviously not going to unlock the weightlifter guy. So it's up to you how you want to play. But the thing about what I said before is where you unlock the different abilities by using all these different characters is that you won't be able to use their abilities if you don't unlock that character. So you probably do want to unlock all of them just to see what their powers are, and you might want to use it with someone else. So,
I wasn't sure if there was like story progression limitations, like you had to get the rat to level 3 before you could move on to Act 2 sort of thing.
The rat is the first one, so you do have to level him up to at least, I think, a B before you start unlocking your next characters. But that does happen naturally with the story anyway. I think you have to progress past the rat no matter what.
Yep. And is it like a 20-hour game, or what are we thinking?
I've heard 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah, right. Cool. And
so decent sized campaign.
You're intending to finish it at this stage?
I think so. Yeah, we'll give it a crack. I mean, time's very poor these days. And
yeah, I hear you, man.
We're about to hit February, Troy, and February is absolutely ridiculous. So.
Indeed it is. And not that it's on the list, but now's as good a time as any to mention, Steve. I slipped back into Demon's Souls to try and get get the Soulsborne feels back before Elden Ring comes out. That game just gets better and better.
Does it really?
Oh, my goodness. I love it. Anyway, which one are we up to? Game 4. Steve, another one from you, mate. Dismantle.
Troy, have you given Dismantle or had a look at Dismantle at all?
I have not. I have seen this trailer that's looping right now on screen is all I know about it.
The only bad thing I'd say is I wish it kind of was on Game Pass. It kind of screams Game Pass, and I think you'd get more people to play it if it was on Game Pass. It's a $27-ish game. So
so are you playing on Xbox or PlayStation?
No, on Xbox.
Yep.
It's just, I think, a $30 price tag is probably a bit asking a bit for a game that no one really knows much about. I think the PC has had this game in sort of early access for the last year or so some of them might know what this game's about.
Well, the trailer that I ripped that's looping now says, I think it says coming soon, 2019-ish.
Yeah, so I think it's the fact that it's finally hit next-gen consoles in 2022. It's obviously been in early access for a while, which I think is probably a good thing. The fact that a lot of these games that do come out in early access, you might play for a bit and they drop off. The fact that I'm jumping into this game now when it seems like it's out proper, I haven't had to do any of that beta testing, and I'm getting the best possible version of the game. So, and that best possible version of the game is quite good. If you look at it on screen, it's obviously like a top-down sort of isometric-y view, and the best way I can probably describe it is like an isometric Dark Souls Last of Us survival light. Fun crafting and
okay. Wow, I honestly thought it was like an Age of Empires type deal.
No, not at all. It's a third-person action game with like very, very light survival mechanics. Like you got a lot of those. What's that? Let's Starve. Is it called?
Don't Starve console edition.
Don't Starve. Yeah. So stuff like that, like quite punishing when it comes to its survival mechanics of like need to drink and eat and all that kind of stuff.
So is it? Do you have direct control over one player, or are you like switching between townspeople or something?
No, you're essentially just this bloke that looks exactly like Joel from The Last of Us, which is a plus in my mind. For all of us that didn't get enough Joel in Last of Us Part 2, this game is essentially Joel Simulator 2022.
Abby got all of them, I think.
Oh, mate, it's got a lot of mechanics that all work really well together, and the fact that the survival stuff is light, like you literally go around collecting scrap and metal and wood and all that, but it's all building towards your upgrades, and you just pick it all up, you drop it off at these fire campsites, which are very reminiscent of Dark Souls as well. Like you get to a fire, it saves your progress, it respawns all the enemies in the area, but you've also got a chest that stores everything. It's got no limit to how much you can store, which is awesome. You can just go out and just dump it all in there, and so you can come back and upgrade your gear.
Is it high risk like Dark Souls? Like, are you carrying a resource that if you die, you've got to go back and recollect, or is it not that?
Yeah. So if you've got, like, sometimes you can be carrying some quite rare stuff if you've been sort of walking around for a bit and you haven't dropped anything off. And then if you get killed by a zombie, of which there's a few in this game that are very hard to kill / ones that you need to just run away from, or else they kill you in one hit, then your body drops as like a skeleton, and then you respawn at your fire, then you can try and get back to your skeleton and reclaim all the stuff you dropped. So very similar to Dark Souls in that way.
How much does it lean into the Minecraft side of it? Like, is everything destructible, or is it more like Fortnite and a very limited amount of building?
No, a lot of stuff's very destructible. Like trees and stuff are all there. You can't destroy them, but like fences and stuff, and there'll be bins at first. Until you upgrade your crowbar, it might say you need to upgrade this to level 40 to damage this thing to be able to get resources from it. So you're constantly grinding the other stuff to upgrade this stuff to be able to, get more things. So you have to upgrade to get yourself what's it called, like a sickle instead of your crowbar, because only a sickle can cut through rubber tires to give you rubber, whereas the crowbar can't.
Sure.
You upgrade your backpacks to be able to carry more things out in the open. So, and then you've got to get to as you level up as well. Your character levels up. You can pick upgrades for your character, like be able to move faster and stuff like that. You've got trinkets that you can attach to yourself to be able to dodge faster, or a torch. But you've only got like maybe 1 out of 7 trinkets you can attach at the start. But until you start crafting, like you might say, well, you need to craft 5 of this item before you can equip 2 of this item.
Okay, sure.
So at the moment, I can now equip running fast and dodging faster at the same time.
Nice.
Which is brilliant. So you dodge behind enemies and take them out melee style. And I've now upgraded my crowbar, so I can almost take out an enemy with a charge strike in like 1 hit.
Nice.
So it's got a real good like reward system. You always feel like you're moving towards something. You never feel like when you're going out there, you're just doing it for nothing. You're always coming back. You're always upgrading something.
How's the overarching story?
Story so far limited, but good. There's obviously something going on. You're on this island. You're trying to escape the island, and you're trying to do all these things to escape. And there's also something mysterious going on with, like, I don't know whether it's aliens or something, but I'm finding these mysterious, like, monoliths that are in the area as well. They activate and then they go all glowy, and I don't know what's happening, but there's something there, but I don't know just yet. So, and there's, you'll come across side quests, and like they're kind of timed events where like you might have, it'll say kill 4 zombies, or I call them something different, like human enemy somethings in like 60 seconds. So you kill all them, and then they won't respawn, but you get a whole bunch of XP for doing so.
Yep. And are you sticking with it? Do you think it's got you want to see the story out?
I will, yeah. Like, it's got a massive open world map to explore, and I've only just sort of in this first biome area with the trees and stuff, and I've suddenly just started moving to a more sort of residentially area. So I think I'll keep going with this, and the fact that it's got seamless like co-op, couch co-op as well, which is good fun. So the little fella's been able to sort of just jump in.
Is it 2-player, 4-player?
Just 2-player, I believe. So they just take over a character that essentially looks like you, but they're in a red top and not a green top, and you just walk around. But it's just double the resource collection, so they can just collect resources, dump them into your bucket for you, and it's just.
And is that
someone else help you out with zombies?
Is that drop in, drop out, or do you have to like start the match in multiplayer mode?
Nah, seamless drop in, drop out.
Oh, perfect! Gotta love that, man.
Mate, it's awesome.
And very kid friendly. Then I take it. There's nothing too crazy going on. No dismemberment.
Nah, nothing like that. The zombies are all pretty cartoonish. It's very Fortnite-y when it comes to its sort of art style and everything. But like obviously I've got no issues with my 6-year-old jumping down and playing this with me. It just gets a bit frustrating sometimes when because you've both got essential control of the camera with the right joystick, when he's moving it around in circles and I'm trying to figure out where we need to go.
Oh, yep, that'll do it.
But I kind of prefer to stay close to your character, or you don't move, as opposed to sometimes those Lego games where it splits the screen. It's doing this crazy stuff to keep you both on screen at once, and it can get a bit crazy. This I prefer, like, you just move together, you work together, and there's nothing that craziness going on. So, no, I was just surprised at this. I just thought I'd jump in because I looked, didn't really see any reviews, just saw some gameplay and thought it looked like some kind of fun Last of Us light.
Yeah, nice.
So far, it's essentially what it's throwing up, and I just like the way they've sort of incorporated these, like, Dark Souls mechanics into it, and just the light survival mechanics, I think, work really well for it as well.
Yeah, nice one. It's, I don't think I'll be getting it day one, but certainly, as you said, if it goes to Game Pass or all the like, I'll be all about it.
Mate, it's prime for a Game Pass release. I reckon I can give it a couple of months and you'll see it on there.
Woohoo! Gotta love that. And then finally tonight, now, unfortunately, this segment is a lot shorter than I'd like. I'm talking, of course, about Hitman 3 on the PC in VR. As you can see it here, this is the announcement that they were doing the independent tracking controls, which you couldn't do on the PlayStation 4. It was just the controller, so your hands were essentially handcuffed together. You could reach forward and grab things, but you couldn't separate your hands, so you couldn't do like the choke out move or anything. Now, the reason it's unfortunate, like any good experience with a PC, I've had all sorts of drivers and conflicts, and where it comes down to is my headset supported. It's a Windows mixed reality headset, but they haven't done the controller mapping. Like, it's too old. So they're like, we don't support that. No. But you'd be fine. Like, they've got all the modern controllers remapped. Basically, you've got to do your own mapping for it to work. But if you can appreciate, I've got to run Windows mixed reality environment. Then on top of that, I have to run the Steam VR environment. And then on top of that, I have to run Half-Life 3 in VR. So I've got these 3 VR instances. And what I found was I have to change the controller mapping in all 3 places for it to actually show up in-game, if that makes sense.
Wow.
It's so, but long story short, I've got it working. I can look in the headset, but the button mapping is just a little bit off. But if I want to change it, I've got to fully tear down all the environments, change the mapping, and then boot them all back up just to test if I got it right or not. So I'm not there yet. But it's been a good 5 hours I've spent trying to get it to work. Not yet.
Yep.
And I'll just say this is why I love console gaming. Yes, that's right. Console gaming.
That's why we're all here, Troy. So I'm taking it this is not your gameplay?
Not at all. This was the original announcement from the developers that it was working. But if it were my footage, I could have gotten footage. It's just my hands couldn't grab anything in the environment.
I love that they're in the Dartmouth mansion level, though, which is arguably the best level in Hitman 3.
Oh, it's great, man. But I will say that Dubai, the opening in Dubai, that really cinematic, you know, when what is it? You step into the foyer and it does that big reveal. That looks phenomenal with all the reflections and the bells and whistles on PC. My goodness, does it look solid.
It does. What's funny about this, though, is I actually watched Knives Out again the other night.
Oh, yeah.
And I had my realities mixed up. For some reason, I thought stuff was going to happen in that I remembered from Hitman.
Afraid not. Oh, Hitman TV show. Now you're talking.
Ooh, yeah. Bring Timothy Oliphant back as Hitman.
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. So, yeah, hopefully next week on G.E.A. I will be able to... Oh, sorry, I'm trying to set up the next thing. Hopefully next week on G.E.A. I'll be able to actually have some gameplay footage and some hands-on impressions of myself in VR, but unfortunately not this week. So, 5 hours of tinkering was fun. If that's your idea of fun.
It's not my idea of fun. I'd rather just see you play the game. But I'm happy to watch you try and fumble around till you get it working.
I'll get there. Yeah, the good news for you, Steve, by the time you'll just be able to walk in, put it on, it'll work.
Yeah, beautiful. I like it.
All right, that does it for our games that we've been playing this week, which brings us, of course, to the news segment, Steve. How does news sound to you?
It's to remain newsworthy.
The right to remain newsworthy. All right, starting us off this week from IGN. Steve, Microsoft have acquired Activision Blizzard. Did you know that?
What?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a few places.
Are you serious?
A few places have mentioned it.
Oh, okay. Well, I've obviously been, haven't heard this stuff this week, but that's big news, Troy.
Oh yeah, big news.
No, we laughed. This was massive. I couldn't believe when I woke up in the morning and saw this. Everything was going nuts. I had to take a second look and just make sure it wasn't just an April Fool's joke.
It was, for me, it was the big shot of inflation is here. If you've got cash, spend it now and spend it quickly.
Pretty much. And instantly I thought, I was like, obviously they bought Bethesda earlier or late last year. And I couldn't remember how much that was when I read this $68.7 billion for this.
It was $7, wasn't it?
Just a measly, $7 billion.
Yeah.
That put things in perspective just slightly as to what Activision Blizzard brings to the table when it comes to a games development company.
It's so amazing. Now, I have forever wanted to play World of Warcraft on console, and I am just hopeful. I'm hopeful that as a result of this news, one day we will get World of Warcraft on console.
I feel like we will, and I also feel like if we really wanted to, you could literally do a 2-hour podcast just on this news story alone.
You could indeed.
Going to.
No, we're not.
We'll just figure out the main things. Obviously, the main things on people's question is Call of Duty. Will it remain on PlayStation format? What do you think, Troy?
I think they are just... let me answer all your next 6 questions in one go.
Go for it.
They have done nothing to suggest that they won't do exactly what they've done with Bethesda again. Like, I've seen nothing and heard no one say that they're not just doing that same playbook. So I assume everything that's been true for Bethesda will be true for Activision. So yes, Call of Duty will become an exclusive.
Can I just read you a comment made by Phil Spencer in relation to trying to curb some of that Call of Duty hysteria on PlayStation?
Wait, hold on. Just to set it up appropriately, is this the Phil Spencer statement that came out only after Sony had dropped 20% in value?
Yes, I believe so.
This is the announcement that looked like he was just trying to stop the industry from blowing up entirely?
Yeah, pretty much that statement.
Yeah,
I
okay.
want to bring you to some words and see if you can pick out the main word that I'm going to read into as to why I think you're probably, why I think you're probably going to see it just on Microsoft alone.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship. Still, this could be read as referring to Call of Duty Warzone ongoing support for Call of Duty. Keep Call of Duty on PlayStation does not mean the same thing as publish new Call of Duty games on PlayStation.
Yep.
So, and he also said it is our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. It is our desire.
Yeah, you can to. And the way I read that is I stopped reading at the word desire. Yep. Everything after the word desire is irrelevant. It's marketing. You get to desire, the rest is marketing.
You know what I think, Troy? This is what I think is going to happen. I think Big Phil's going to go, hey, Sony, how do you feel about an Xbox Game Pass app on your console to be able to play Call of Duty? Sony says, well, I don't want that. He says, well, guess you don't get Call of Duty. Our desire was that you got Call of Duty, but I guess you don't want it.
It's I can't imagine the kind of power they wield in negotiations now. But it's whoa, it's crazy to think.
And you know, also it's crazy to think now Xbox owns Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, both PlayStation mascots.
Yep, it's all up for sale, folks. It's all up for sale.
It is. But what I also do like is that. Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was just going to say the big ones for me are. I just hope this means that Blizzard have been so dormant with so many of their good IPs. I hope that Microsoft do you know how EA just farmed out all the Star Wars stuff to random studios? I hope Microsoft just go, all right, here's the back catalogue of IP we own now and just throw it to anyone. All right, and we just start getting random games from old IPs popping up left, right and centre. That'd be ideal.
I love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. And what I would also love is if Microsoft allows companies or like developers like Toys for Bob, who they pulled off Crash Bandicoot, I believe it was, to work on Call of Duty. They pulled off who was the guys who did Tony Hawk. They pulled them off to do to do Call of Duty as well.
Yep.
So they're pulling all these developers off that are making all these awesome remakes and stuff of games to work on Call of Duty. So I'm hoping now, obviously with the whole Bobby Kotick stuff, and you know he's obviously going to get the arse at some point, probably sooner rather than later. But I hope that these developers at these game companies that have been made to work on Call of Duty can now go back to doing what they love, and it's working on these like other IPs other than their Call of Duty. Like
I wouldn't bank on that, mate. Microsoft's statement is always, what is it? We don't want to interfere with their culture or whatever that standard line they've got is.
Yeah, but their culture's shit at Activision Blizzard, so I don't think they'll mind interfering this time.
That's a good point, man. I don't know.
I would love to see Toys Bob come out and do a remake of Banjo Kazooie.
Yes, that would be very cool. It depends on whether Microsoft see more value in it, just business as usual with Activision. Now we've got Call of Duty, or do they have crazy ambitions to restructure the whole thing? Like, who knows? It could go either way, though.
Exactly right. I could see them moving Call of Duty to no longer being annually, and you obviously got 3 different developers that now do Call of Duties so back to back, so you're making sure you get them out each year. I could see them sort of putting a break on it and maybe sort of producing a better Call of Duty maybe once every 2 years and having the other developers work on other games.
No, I disagree. And
I know Call of Duty makes them a lot of money, and no matter how it comes out each year is going to make them a shitload of money, but I also wouldn't mind a better quality product as well.
I hear you, man, but Exhibit A would be Halo Infinite. How long did they have to work on that?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a first-person shooter, and I think it was 6 years in development, I want to say.
Yeah.
And it came out the other end not looking like a 6-year in development game. It kind of looked like it got restarted maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, true.
So it's not like Microsoft are known for their awesome production pipeline of getting out first-person shooters. So I'm not.
That's true.
So,
they got a lot of,
so I can't see them.
Money to throw at them, though.
They do, but what I'm saying is I can't see them going in there and enforcing a new pipeline on them when they don't have a superior one on offer. Like, I would argue the more successful pipeline has been Activision's from like a delivery year-on-year standpoint.
Yeah.
If anything, Microsoft should be taking notes on how they do it.
How do you get a game out quicker?
Yeah. Can we get the next Halo out a bit quicker, maybe?
Maybe we find some happy medium there where we get quality with quantity.
Maybe.
There's got to be where they meet somewhere in between.
That would be nice. As long as games come out the other end of it, though, honestly, I'll be happy.
And as long as Kotick's no longer at the company.
Oh, I think reading between the lines on that one, it's I take it there's some sort of handshake agreement that he's out the door as soon as the deal is done.
I think so. Well, I did hear there was like rumors going around as well that Bobby Kotick was trying to actually buy up Kotaku and PC Gaming Magazine.
I love
just to try and change the narrative on Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, well, why not?
Like if you own those news outlets, then you can change the narrative however you like. But that obviously never came to fruition. I don't think we'll see him at the company next year. But I believe this deal's supposed to be done by fiscal June 2023?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What's that, like 15 months, 16 months away? But I had it listed. Nope, moving on.
How quickly do you think we'll see Call of Duty as an Xbox exclusive?
I think in the middle of next year is when the deal is done. So I would assume. When does the marketing cycle usually start? If the marketing cycle for Call of Duty hasn't started by the time the deal's done, it'll be exclusive to Xbox. But
you got E3 generally in June and stuff. So I reckon realistically, I think 2024 is your first exclusive Call of Duty if that's going to happen.
It could be next year, man, and they could just release the trailers, and then the trailers at the end mightn't say anything about platform.
That's true.
Like they might do that, from Q2 next year, and then after the deal's done, then they just change that end slate to be Xbox exclusive.
Yeah. Well, what do you think this is going to do? Like, do you think this is going to hurt games going forward, being the fact that Microsoft owns most of the third parties now and seemingly going to keep them sort of to themselves? Do you think that hurts game development and these developers, mate? You don't think so?
No, I think the business world is constantly changing. Like, yeah, okay, it's a big change in the business world, but there's nothing to state that a change in business has a change in like positive or negative in the output of the product. Like it could go either way.
That's right.
There are so many variables at play. I don't have an issue with it at all. Sounds like in the short-term future, as a Game Pass and as an Xbox owner and a Game Pass subscriber already, sounds like it's a short-term win for me. Long-term, I don't know. I'll play games anyway, so I'm sure it'll move the gaming industry somewhere. But wherever it moves to, I'm going to follow it. So
I think we're definitely talking from a privileged point of view. The fact that we own both consoles. So for me and you, so people like us, we don't care. Like we're going to play these games regardless. Yeah. But you think about those people that are like, Sony fanboys, PlayStation for life. Yeah. All of a sudden, they're potential, or even just people that buy PlayStations just to play Call of Duty. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh my god, where is our game going? I'm going to have to buy an Xbox. I don't want to buy an Xbox." So, I mean, yes, that's a them problem and not a me problem.
Yeah, they need to sit down and reevaluate their life choices.
They really do. I mean, it seems like the way Xbox is going, they are becoming the Netflix of gaming, and I think that's where they're going to go. I think it's not far off till you see an app on a TV and you're syncing your controller up to a TV to play games with the cloud. Obviously, in Australia, it's not as viable because our internet's not as good as over in America and stuff like that.
Oh, that's all right if you pay for it.
It is all right. So if you can get yourself a good internet connection, a decent, or even just a newer TV with this app on it, and just sync a control up to it, all of a sudden you got plenty of people buying, playing games without even the cost of paying $500, $600 for a console.
Absolutely, man. Back to the question of, is Game Pass going to appear on PlayStation? I doubt it. I don't think, for my mind, it makes more sense to keep them all exclusive to Xbox and just simply say, if you want to play these awesome games, buy an Xbox. Like, that's it.
Agreed. But I can also see Microsoft playing hardball and being like, well, we tried to play with Sony, but they said no, so Sony's the bad guy. Now buy an Xbox.
Yeah, what was that? The not cross-play. Was it cross-play? like 2 years ago, there was all that hoorah about.
Oh yeah, was it Fortnite?
Yeah,
Sony wasn't letting people play Fortnite crossplay, but Nintendo Switch and Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a rehash of that one. Although the shoe's on the other foot now, I suppose.
You watch, you'll see Game Pass on Nintendo before you see it on PlayStation.
Oh my God. I just can't imagine it. I don't see the sense in buying the studios and then putting Game Pass on there. Like, in my mind, you'd buy the studios to increase the value of Game Pass, but if you put Game Pass everywhere, what was the point?
That's right. I think people playing PlayStation anyway. I have a PlayStation for their exclusive games anyway, so I'm always going to get a PlayStation to play my Uncharted, to play my Horizons, etc. So, but again, third-party games now. Pretty much Xbox is my third-party console now.
Yeah, but I mean, you can bet off the back of this that you'll get in a couple of 2 years, you'll get some small little Rockstar type, and by Rockstar I mean the original spirit behind the Rockstar studio, where they would just go and cause trouble at trade shows and stuff. Like, you'll get a young group of guys publishing games that, Microsoft won't touch. They'll be not indie so much as just the more edgy than Microsoft.
Yeah.
So okay, they're taking a whole heap of people into one pool, but at the same time, they're making a whole bunch of space for new, entrepreneurs to start up new businesses to service the market they're abandoning. So it's just creating different opportunities for different people. It'll change stuff, but, you got to wait and see what happens before you know if it was any good,
Well, that's right. Yeah, give this story, a couple of years from now, and we'll see where we're at. I'm sure there's plenty of theories going out there at the moment, and no one's probably going to be right.
Yeah, in the short term, as an Xbox gamer, I say a win for us.
Yep.
Take it as a win. And
games are good.
Yeah, hell yeah. And, fingers crossed we finally get World of Warcraft on console.
Oh, I think we're there. That StarCraft will get all of it. Don't you worry.
Woohoo! All right, story 2 this week. Banjo Kazooie arrives on the Nintendo Switch Online, and the expansion pack is later this week. Apparently, one of the best Nintendo 64 games can be with you wherever you go.
It can. There was just a small story. I saw this coming out, and I was like a little excited because, even though I've got Banjo Kazooie, I think it's on the Xbox through
Rare Replay. Yep.
Has it on there and stuff, but it's just being able to just, I think, play Banjo Kazooie on the Switch handheld and just sort of take it anywhere you go. I love Banjo Kazooie. It's one of those nostalgic games for me that just the sound of Kazooie as you run, like and the noises she makes and stuff like that. Like, I'm really enjoying. I'm about to. I've got to be talking really quiet here because I'm about to get the little fella a Switch for his birthday.
Whoa!
I've already got one, but he's getting the OLED, Troy.
Oh,
nice. Getting the OLED, and I'm stuck with the old Switch. Do you think he'll know if I switch it out?
Just take the middle bit, leave him the new Joy-Cons, and give him your old guts.
Oh, mate, he won't have any idea, will he? He won't.
Did you go with the Glacier White?
We did, yes.
Nice.
But that was my wife wanted to get him the colourful one, the red and the blue. I'm like, I want the nice looking one, but that's a me thing. That's not a him thing. I think about the children. Then, as luck would have it, they were sold out of the red and blue one, so you could only get the Glacier White one. So yes, we did have to fork out more money to get the Joy-Cons to make it look like the kid one. Yes, Troy, I own the Glacier White one. Nice, excellent work, man. So that I actually wouldn't mind chucking him on a bit of Banjo Kazooie and stuff like that. I think. I don't know whether 6 might be too young for it, because I think I would have played this. Was it 1998? It came out, the original, I believe. I think this game is very child-friendly. I can't think of anything that would preclude him from playing it. No. It's more so the gameplay itself, obviously. Oh, I see. Sorry. It's mechanically wise and stuff like that, and it doesn't really hold your hand, Banjo. I went back to play it recently, and I'm like, how did I do this as a child? It's like I'm lost. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yep. Obviously, the trappings of all newer games seem to, even platformers, like just hold your hand so much, whereas platformers back in the 64 days, even Mario 64, if you go back and play that today, there's moments in that game where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yes, absolutely, man. I know that pain myself. Totally. But I'm sure, kids are smart these days. They figure stuff out. I had him playing Minecraft recently just because that's another plan to get him playing handheld Minecraft. So I'll chuck him on the Xbox. It's a Minecraft. And he's finally learned to build himself a house. Does he play survival or creative? No, put him in creative. He'd get too frustrated, I think, playing just the regular Minecraft and dying. I think if he's able to fly and build whatever he wants, that's the way to go about it. You want to build a dinosaur, buddy? You build a dinosaur. So ask me to build a dinosaur because you want it to happen quickly.
Has he seen the Mario levels of Minecraft on the Switch version? Because they're amazing.
He hasn't, and he's definitely seen certain expansions that seem to pop up on stuff that cost money, and I'm not for spending money just yet on Minecraft. Maybe once he's into it on his Switch and it's his world, I'll be like, maybe you can have this pack.
The Nintendo one was free at the time. As far as I know, it's still free, man. As long as you play Minecraft on Switch, you can go into the the in-store, in-game store and download the Mario skin. I believe it's free. You just got to go and manually kick it off is the only gotcha.
That is brilliant because we've got him Minecraft and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, I think, is his two games we're going to start him out with.
Oh, and you can earn your Xbox achievements on that one. So if he's got an Xbox account, mate, make sure you sign him in or get some cheeky points yourself. Get him earning for you.
Nice. I don't know how we went from Banjo because we were talking about Switch and Mario and Minecraft, but that's how you do it these days.
We like to play it nice and loose here.
I like it. Let's go to story number 3 because I think this is
indeed. Battlefield 2042 dropped zombies mode after it became an XP farm. This is all news to me. I didn't even know there was a zombies mode in it. Amazing. What can you tell us, Steve?
I can tell you about as much as you know as well. I just read the story and thought it was hilarious. Battlefield just seemingly can't do anything right.
Every move they make screams of we don't have testers anymore. It's like
no,
the developers think that's going to work and go play it.
They're like, oh, what's big in game? Well, Call of Duty's been doing zombies. Let's try zombies, and then it just gets absolutely exploited, and people are just XP farming. I should have left it in it. Like if people were having fun in their game and actually playing that to have fun, why not just leave it in there? Like who cares? Like if we've got some numbers of people actually playing the game since the first couple of weeks. Where I know you jumped in and liked it for the first couple of weeks, but you did something that had players come back in playing it, and now you're saying, oh no, people are having fun playing a game. Let's stop that.
Yeah, it's so crazy, isn't it? It's bizarre. I'm with you, man. Just if that's going to, and it would draw people in. Let them XP farm it.
And I am hearing rumours that EA is wanting to make Battlefield free to play just with the drop in numbers at the moment. So I don't reckon we're too far off seeing Battlefield 2042 going free to play.
Game Pass? Free to play or Game Pass?
Yeah. No, free to play, I think. Obviously,
why would they skip the pot of money from Microsoft from adding it to Game Pass first, though?
I think they would because, like otherwise you're looking at adding microtransactions and stuff like that, which can piss people off as well. They've had stuff for free in the game that now they have to pay for. So yeah, like you probably could go Game Pass first, but then Sony fanboys might whinge again because their game still costs money. I don't know. You've got Spartacus coming up. Maybe Spartacus, their Spartacus can be free to play Battlefield as well.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, crazy that it's almost the, was it the Final Fantasy? They did so well they couldn't sell the game anymore.
That's right. Final Fantasy 14, is it? I want to say.
14's the online one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. On this as well, there's like another story. It's not in this. It's not in the doc, but Halo in I think season 2 is having the ability to earn credits that you would normally pay to get store items for in the game, so you can actually earn credits by playing the game out to purchase stuff in the store. So I thought that's like a nice little thing. I'm not sure. People probably wins that you don't earn enough credits for playing a game to buy stuff in the store. Like that's probably going to happen, but at least it's something. Like it is nice to know that you can buy these store items just by playing the game now. So that might actually give people more of a reason to play the game more, just to earn these credits to buy store items that normally you'd have to fork out cash for. So I think that's quite nice. Is
that exclusively in the multiplayer modes, or is something in the campaign as well for that?
No, I believe that's just multiplayer. So yeah, stark contrast to Battlefield just consistently getting things wrong.
Bizarre.
That's poor buggers.
Bizarre.
I kind of feel bad for them.
Moving on, then we have Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga release date revealed alongside gameplay overview.
Yes, Troy, did you take a look? I know you're not usually one for gameplay trailers and stuff, but viewers of spoilers and stuff like that. Did you check this one out at all?
I have not, but I could hit play right now. Tell me things.
Have a look, mate. This game looks awesome. This has been on my radar for a while, and I think it was supposed to come out last year. It kept getting pushed, and
wasn't this originally going to be a launch title? I feel like it was announced back with the consoles.
It was announced. Yeah, it may have well been a 2020 release, and then was pushed to sort of mid 2021, pushed to late 21.
Yeah,
I think we were finally getting it sort of mid 2022 now. So I'm hoping it's all for good reasons. And it looked, going by the trailer, I'm actually thinking it actually might come out pretty well. Like, it's got a lot of content in there. It's got every single movie from Star Wars, 1 through to, what are we, 9?
Yeah, 1 through 9. I
want to say.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, apart from obviously all the other ones that you weaved in and out.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, like it's different gameplay than the old Star Wars games. It looks more like a third-person action adventure game, and you're just playing through the game. It's got some really cool lightsaber duels if you watch the gameplay, and third-person shooting and stuff in it as well, with really nice looking. I think it's going to look amazing on the brand new consoles. They've always the current Lego games look really good on the new gen consoles as it is, but I think the way this is going to, like, it's just so shiny, Troy. Look at it.
Look at the shiny plastic. I love it.
I love it. And then apparently there's a mode where you can like flick to like the original like Lego like voices, the mumble,
perfect.
Lego purists love.
Yeah,
I don't mind a full voiced cast, but yeah, some people do enjoy just sort of the the bubbling Lego characters, because you sort of leaves up to the imagination about what's happening, and it can be quite funny.
I do like that original.
Yes, that's right. But like, look at this, like episode 1, like with the Jedis and stuff. I just think this game's going to be really fun to play, especially if you can play it co-op fully. I haven't seen any gameplay co-op. I'm assuming.
I just assume as a Lego game it would be, but I don't know. You're right. That was an assumption.
Yeah, like surely it would have to be. Like, the Lego games have always been renowned for their co-op, so I don't think this will be any different. But maybe with the change of gameplay, that might make things a little bit harder, because you don't have your set scenes like you do. In the other Lego games, whereas this is more of a free-form third-person game where it looks like you can control the camera at all times. So
yeah, now
I'm very excited.
Have they given any indication as to length? Like, if you want to play all 9 episodes of Star Wars, are we talking a 50-hour game or?
No, they actually haven't given it as a length. I know you can unlock about 300 Star Wars characters, which I think there's probably only maybe, if you really think about it, maybe 20 to 30 you probably actually are going to play it.
Plus stormtroopers 1 through 298.
That's what I mean. There's all how many different stormtrooper, flame trooper, flying trooper, red trooper, black trooper. Like, they're probably all going to be the same. And like, realistically, you're only really going to be playing as the beloved characters that you really like and know.
Yeah.
But even just look at this gameplay again, I'm like really excited to just jump into this and just have some fun. And I reckon it'd be a really good one to play with the kids. Yeah,
my boys love their Star Wars and they love their Lego games, so this is definitely on my radar, man. I don't suppose anyone's said Game Pass in relation to it yet?
Oh, they haven't. I don't think we'll see this on Game Pass, not at least day one.
Who's publishing it, sorry? Is it...
who normally does? It's the TT Games, isn't it?
Yeah, TT Games are the publisher, though, aren't they? Who's the...
they're well...
I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on.
I can do a quick fact check for you while you move on, if you like.
Fact check me, please, Steve, on the developers. And now, 5th story for the week. We kind of touched on it a little earlier, and it's Phil Spencer reacting to the news, as Steve said, of the PlayStation Plus. Well, allow me to read it. Instead of summarizing it, I shall read their words because they have it here. Allow me to read you this first sentence, Steve, and then there's a pop quiz for you, mate, so have your ears on. Xbox Phil Spencer has responded to the rumors of Sony's plans to combine PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now into a single service, currently dubbed Project Spartacus. Steve, now, have you heard any other additions or subtractions, or it's just the combination of those two services?
As far as it's just the combination of those two services, as far as I know.
You and I are in the same boat there. And now, here's the big question that I want to ask and that I haven't heard anyone ask, so I'm going to ask you, Steve.
Go for it.
Now, allow me to take a small history trip over to Wikipedia before the question. Allow me to read you the Spartacus entry from Wikipedia. Spartacus was, Theaticus, Gladiator, who, along with a bunch of names I'm going to fail at pronouncing, was one of the escaped slave leaders in the third, I'm going to guess that's Servile War, a major slave uprising against the Roman Republic. So, Steve, my question is, the third war, is that a reference to the PlayStation 3? And is the Spartacus being the slave leader, is the inference there that all the games on PlayStation 3 were slaves to the cell processor? So is Project Spartacus the emulator that allows them to finally convert cell processor games to be emulated on x86 processors? That's my question. Is that the Spartacus reference?
Well, I love the way your mind works. That was incredible. No way could have I inferenced any of that from what we already had. But I love what you've done there. And I'm gonna say simply yes.
Isn't Spartacus such a weird name to pick for their project?
It is.
Like,
it really, yeah.
What? It's got to mean something, surely.
It's got to, and I don't know if we'll ever know. Like sometimes, they've had different names. What was the Xbox 360 called before it came out? They had a project name as well.
Milo?
Wasn't that the name of the weird kid from the Kinect thing?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Man,
that might actually be Kinect. What Kinect was called, wasn't it? It was called Milo or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe like Project Milo, was it? Oh gosh, that's.
Because I know the 360s had something built in them that was something to do with the name of it. I think.
Oh, I didn't know this. This is interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue what it was called, but it's probably not going to come to me before this podcast ends.
Oh well. So we agree then in principle that Project Spartacus is actually the cell processor emulator, and nothing at all to do. Well, the fact that PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now are being combined into a single service, yes, that's awesome. But my assertion is that the word Spartacus has absolutely nothing to do with the combination of those services, and is in fact the announcement of the emulator.
I think it potentially could be. Which I hope they decide to go to more of a Game Pass service, but who knows?
If you want to lean back into your Xbox now have a lot of negotiating powers with Sony for because they've got Call of Duty and you want Call of Duty, we'll give it to you, but it's going to cost you something. What's the chance Microsoft asked the cell processor to run on the Xbox? Could this, in fact, go the other way? Could Microsoft want to start putting the PlayStation 3 Sony exclusive titles running on Xbox?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Because imagine this, Steve. Imagine if they run the emulator on the PlayStation 5 and it looks as it does, but then Microsoft run it and then their engineers tweak it and add 120... the backwards compatibility frame rate boost or something. Imagine if the engineers did that to Sony. That'd be amazing.
That'd be hilarious. Realistically, I think we're going to find Spartacus a more simple version of Game Pass. I think we're going to just see backwards compatible stuff come out, as we saw last week, the PS3 games hitting the store. But I think realistically, if they want it to work, they're going to have to start giving something for that service when it comes out. They need to provide first-party games. I think they need to provide games day in, day out on that service. Otherwise, it's going to fail and it's just going to pale in comparison to what Xbox is delivering.
So do you think, assuming for a minute all of that comes true and PlayStation end up with, the feature-for-feature copy of Game Pass, call it whatever they will.
Yep.
Does that even stop the bleeding with respect to the console wars and selling units this generation? Even if they do have a service that matches it exactly, but it's not the game library that Microsoft now has. Does it matter? Is that gonna sway a consumer? You've got the same service, but
way because the fact that Microsoft does obviously or is about to have Activision Blizzard, they've got Bethesda, they've got all these game studios currently making games that are going to be day in day out Game Pass, and then you've got Sony, they do have a good backlog of like first party titles, and that's what they've built their reputation on, is these first party titles, which essentially are all just third person action adventure games, all in different skins.
Yeah.
But they're all high quality. We're not going to deny that. They are the best games you can buy. Like, they're some of the best games I've ever played. Like, that's not a question.
Hands down.
If you're offering a lot of time, and the problem they've got, though, is a lot of these people have already played these games. If you're a Sony person that's wanting a service like this, you've already played those games probably more than once. So what are they going to offer going forward with that? Like, you need to bring good games. These, like Horizon Forbidden West coming out, something like that would need to be day in, day out on that console. But then again, that's all you've got. Like, what else are you buying this service for, unless they're offering all this other stuff? But what is that other stuff going to be if you don't have these third-party developers developing games for you?
Yeah, it's a crazy position they find themselves in, but I don't understand the logic in the matching Game Pass without the library. Like, Game Pass without the library is just kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's back to the whole Netflix thing. Like, content is king. Like, as you say, like, you know, Netflix, Amazon Prime, 100 other services. The only differing factor for them is the library.
Well, that's right, and Xbox does have that library. I mean, it's only getting better and better. Like, it's weird to think games like Nobody Saves the World and stuff that just came out, it's such a quality product, and we're not even thinking about it because we can install it straight away. We don't have to even worry about outlaying money for something. And Rainbow Six Extraction's another one. That game is $80 on a PlayStation. We don't even have to think about whether we like the game or not, look at reviews, because we can try it for ourselves straight away.
Yep, correct. Oh, and have you tried the on your Series X? Have you tried the Cloud Play? So you don't install it at all. You just do the Cloud Play one.
I have. Yeah.
It's interesting. I couldn't use it permanently. Like, it's exactly for that, man. Fire it up and. Is this good enough to download? It kind of answers that question.
Even if you're playing that in like 30 frames per second compared to the installed version, which might be 60 and 4K, you can get enough of an idea about a game as to whether, like, oh, this is all right, I would like to play this game with better visuals, etc.
Yeah.
But you're not literally, you can, what takes maybe 2 minutes to load into that game, and you're already playing it. You're not installing it. You're not paying anything for it.
Yeah.
And then you can make up your own mind. You don't need to go on YouTube and look at reviewers' decisions. You can make up your mind yourself.
That's exactly right, mate. So it brings me back to the point. If we agree that they're essentially going to be the same service, but Xbox have the bigger library, at that point I want to ask you your own question back, man. Do you think in that world that there is any likelihood of Microsoft bringing Game Pass to the PlayStation 5?
Probably not.
That's my point.
Probably not. But my point is that doesn't stop Phil from going, hey, Sony, you want Call of Duty? We're going to offer this. Not really, but this is how you're going to get Call of Duty, because it doesn't hurt their business by any means.
Oh, how about this for an idea, man? How about if they just made the releases on PlayStation a year later? So Call of Duty 2023 for Xbox is PlayStation's 2024 Call of Duty, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, they already did that with Tomb Raider when it first came out. That came out on Xbox, and it was the sequel, and a year later, your PlayStation. I'd already played it on Xbox, and you had to wait a year to come out on PlayStation. So
maybe that's the ticket. Give yourself a year exclusivity and then publish it normally, like not with the service, but then, you can have it full price a year later on the PlayStation. So you still got Call of Duty.
I was going to say, because remember, Phil said our desire.
Call
of Duty. I desire they have it later. I don't care when they get it; they'll still get it. They just won't be playing it day in, day out.
Exactly. Like, you'll still get Call of Duty 12 months later.
12 months later.
I don't know. Wild speculation. Now, round out the news-ish segment, as we do every week, Steve, Game Informer has the list of games coming out in the following week. To start us off, El Hoyo? Wild West Ale. No idea. Steve, iOS and Android?
Yeah, and Switch, I think, when you click into it, it comes out as well, I believe. I did check to see what this one was briefly before we went on air tonight. It's sort of like, did you see or play any of Desperados, the game? Desperados 3 that I believe is on Game Pass on Xbox, sort of top-down isometric cowboy game.
I know the game you're talking about, but no, I haven't played it.
Yeah, so it looks like a Desperados Light version of that, where you just play as this character, and it's sort of stealthy, sort of top-down Metal Gear kind of. You got cones of visibility on the enemies and stuff like that, you sneak through and stuff like that. So that's essentially what you're playing.
Nice one, man. And then next up is the Artful Escape, which, as we already discussed, is within Xbox Game Pass, but coming now to the PlayStation 4, 5, and the Nintendo Switch, January 25th. What's that, tomorrow?
It is. It is. Well worth a play.
If memory serves, Steve, you said it was good 80s music?
Yep, very good 80s music, side-scroller, not so much a game as an experience. Definitely give it a go. I feel like I saw it on your dashboard during another install that you had installed it.
Oh, I installed it after, was it last week or the week before? You said, it might have been the Game of the Year one. I remember you said it had great 80s music. That night you told me that, I went and installed it, but I've yet to play it.
Mate, get onto it. It won't take you long to play it, / even just give it a half an hour just to see what it's all about, but definitely worth a play.
All right, well, maybe that's as soon as we're off air this evening. Next up, we have Circuit Superstars PlayStation 4. Looks like some sort of rally game, I suppose.
It kind of looks like it may be. I haven't looked at this one. This kind of looks maybe a Micro Machines type.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
that would be my guess, but I'm not going to tell you that's exactly what it is. But if I had to guess, that's what I'd say.
Very good, mate. Next up is Daemon X Machina for the PC. I know nothing.
Nothing at all. It says PC, but the logo shows Switch, so I'm only going to assume it's on the Switch as well.
Look out.
But it's got a 5.5 and it says PC, so I couldn't care less about this game.
Fair enough. Although it's prompted me to remember the film Ex Machina from 2015, I want to say. Fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Sci-fi, who doesn't love sci-fi?
I love it.
Then we have January 28th is Pokemon Legends Arceus? Arceus? Sure, why not? On the Switch. Now, you're the resident Pokemon guy, Steve, so over to you.
You're just generous. Say it's a guy that's never really played / finished a Pokemon ever, but that's...
let me ask you this. Who has sold more Pokemon games between you and I?
Who's sold?
Yes.
Definitely me.
There you have it. A winner is you, Steve.
A lot. Yes. But I've got to put money on this game getting delayed, so I'm actually very surprised to see it's still at January 28. Like, when I saw open world Breath of the Wild style Pokemon and its release date being January, and the initial sort of buzz around it wasn't that great from what we had seen, I could have sworn this thing was going to get delayed. So I'm not sure what the reception is going to be like when it comes out this week. I'm all down for a more Breath of the Wild styled Pokemon, but it looks like the combat's just still the same old, once you find a Pokemon, you're in that sort of battle system, you're picking your attacks and stuff. I would have much preferred a more organic style of catching Pokemon in the wild, but it doesn't look like what we've got. So we'll see what the reviews come in, but I'm not holding out too much hope for that because I think people have got too much expectations in relation to what it's actually going to be to what actually is going to be delivered. So
fair enough, man. Can I ask you just quickly, you just mentioned like it hasn't been delayed. I'm just scratching my memory. I would assert that Nintendo hasn't really suffered many delays in this COVID environment. Can you think of any?
Zelda's about the only thing I can think of.
But did that officially get pushed back, or did people just let down that it wasn't given a date?
I feel like they initially said 2021 with
no
date.
Did they? There you go. You've got me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were 2021 with no date. I think it was similar to like a Halo thing where like, we're getting Zelda and Halo 2021, and then they both got pushed.
I see. I was going to suggest Nintendo were the best at holding the release date back until they were confident. It was going to be my assertion, but no.
They are pretty good at it. But I think, putting like a 2021 on it initially, they may have even just come out and said 2022 and people expected early 2022 and now it's late. But I'll even be surprised if we see Zelda this year, to be honest.
Oh, how good will the next Zelda be? Sign me up.
Oh, can't wait.
Can't wait. Random question. Have they said anything? Is it a sequel to Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, it definitely is a sequel.
Okay, excellent. Now, finally, Game Informer's last game of the week. On January 28th on the PlayStation 5 and PC, we get Uncharted, the Legacy of Thieves collection. Call me excited and sign me up.
Oh, no good. Don't know anything about this Uncharted. What's this game? Oh, my.
Are you as confused as the PC players who just got Uncharted 4 with no idea what happened in Uncharted 1, 2, and 3?
Poor bastards. But I can't wait. This thing's pretty much already pre-installed on my console, ready to go. I can't wait to see this thing in its shiny new coat of paint.
My question, Steve, how much and how many editions are there?
There's only, as in of this version or?
Well, I didn't know. No. Sorry, I meant Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. I didn't know if they were doing the $70 bundle, the $120 bundle, and the $160 bundle.
I think I did have a look. I'm pretty sure it's just the normal bundle, because if this thing did come with some kind of figure, I would probably have already pre-ordered it, as I did with Uncharted 3 and 4 to get the Nathan Drake statue. But it doesn't look like that with this one. I just can't wait to play the game again, and it can't come soon enough. I'll even play Lost Legacy again, which is the non-Nathan Drake Uncharted, but such a good game, which I remember you saying you haven't actually played.
Correct. I haven't. Now, so, yeah, run me down, Steve. Do we know anything from a trophy standpoint? Is this like import your save and pop a bunch of trophies? Or is it...
I think it's built ground up PS5, so I think you can redo all the game and play for all your trophies again, which is good for me. I think I did get the Platinum Uncharted 4, so I'll be happy to do it again on PlayStation 5, and I do know they're talking a lot of DualSense features in this game as well, so they've gone to town with the controller.
Very nice. Very exciting stuff. You mentioned Nathan Drake's statue. I think this was the statue I got from number 4. Certainly Nathan Drake.
From number 4. I've just looked up and seen it there. That is the exact one I have, Troy, and I believe it came with a necklace with the ring on it as well. Or that could have been Uncharted 3, actually, if I'm remembering correctly.
That might be in a box up there. I know exactly what you're talking about. But that will do it for the news, which then, sorry, excuse me one moment while I flick around screens and try and find myself. The standoff, Steve. It's the standoff.
Ooh, the standoff. Who will fight?
Who will fight? I've got... I have... Look at this.
Who will fight?
This week's standoff, Who Will Fight, is we are doing our favourite melee weapons, are we not, Steve?
We are. Favourite, best, whatever you want to call it, we're doing it.
Beautiful. Leading us off tonight, the first one is Bada Bing, the Leviathan axe from God of War.
Ooh, it's hard. Like, I don't remember a time where I played a game and instantly fell in love with a weapon as much as I did the Leviathan axe in God of War. How about yourself?
I threw it and I thought, oh yeah. And then when it came back to me, I thought, wow.
Yeah, it's just that feeling. It just had that perfect feeling of, like, you press that button, it comes back to your hand with such power, and just like, oh my God, was it fun to use?
They absolutely nailed the feeling of being Thor, I assume.
They did, and I believe it was, I think, the same guy they brought on actually for the Avengers game to try and get that same feeling with Thor's hammer.
In the Avengers, the one that flopped?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Swing and a miss, I would suggest.
Can say the Thor hammer does not feel quite as good as the Leviathan axe to throw in that game.
Nowhere near
or retrieve, but it's not on this list, but the fact that you had that axe and you thought, I'm happy with this axe for the whole game, and then they throw that spanner in the works.
Oh, no spoilers.
Oh, we can do spoilers for God of War, can't we?
Oh, you're right. 2018, I'll let it go. Sorry.
Yeah, you go back and get your Blades of Chaos, and it's just incredible, that whole story thing, and you can switch between the two, and my God, what a game.
It is fantastic. I love the Axeman. It's a great entry for number 1. Number 2 against it is, of course, the Master Sword from Zelda. The Master Sword.
Troy, if this list was just most iconic melee weapons, I think this could probably win it, because it's been around probably longer than every other melee weapon on this list, I would say.
Indeed. I have a soft spot for it. My boys have a replica, real life replica, and they run around and smack each other stupid with it. So.
I love it. But it's just so iconic. Like, every game, you just you start with your shitty little sword. You're just working up to you finally get that Master Sword. And it's always an epic moment, pulling it out and holding it aloft as you do. And It doesn't obviously change too many of the mechanics in the game. So you've got slightly more power in the sword. It does some magic stuff in different games.
If memory serves, in Breath of the Wild, it had really good. Everything else broke really quick, but what the word I'm looking for, like it didn't deteriorate as quickly as everything else.
No, that's right. No, durability.
Durability. Thank you. It had high durability, I want to say.
It did. So, no, it's one of those most iconic weapons going around in gaming. We're not going to argue that it's probably not the most iconic melee weapon going around in video games.
No. I think it standing by itself is cool, but in my mind, for the best melee weapon, what we're really talking about is the action of attacking with it, in my mind.
Yes. Yeah, everything. It's best melee weapon. It's got to look good. It's got to feel good. It's the gameplay. It's everything. So, but in terms of the way its legacy, I think it's up there.
Yeah, definitely. Looks iconic, big legacy. Just not sure it brings it on the gameplay front. Oh, of course, the hidden blade in Assassin's Creed, going all the way back to the first one. What was his name? Desmond and Ezio. Was it Ezio in the first one?
Ezio's Assassin's Creed 2.
What was the name of the first assassin then?
That's a good question, because I don't feel like there was much. There'll be people out there who love Assassin's Creed that'll be like screaming at us right now. But
I feel like I knew this name for the longest time. Anyway, the Hidden Blade, fantastic weapon. Now, was it from the first, Steve, or was it? I feel like it was in like the third or fourth iteration where they showed you him getting his finger cut off when he got the blade fitted.
That's right, because didn't they had it like at the top of the wrist or something instead, and that's why they decided to go with underneath.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I did a whole story about it, but I think it was another assassin that he cut his finger off, and that's why they changed it. I think you remember having
it was in Black Flag. At the start of Black Flag, they try to cut his finger off, and he doesn't let them, and he spins it around.
That's right.
That's where it flicked.
Yes, but like this is one of those iconic weapons. This is like almost up there with Zelda. Like there's been almost as many Assassin's Creed games now as there has been Zelda. Probably tried to add them up.
Hands down, and I got to say, man, to this day, it's one of my favourite motions in game. Just walking casually, blending into a crowd, leaning out, assassinating someone, then just blending straight back in. It's such a beautiful move.
It's so good. Then you've got the double attack as well. You run between two people and both arms come up when you got the double blades.
Or the big drop from the roof with two.
Yes.
Gotta love that.
When we're talking gameplay mechanics as well as the melee stuff, it's up there. It's definitely ticking a few boxes.
Yeah, it's got narrative beats.
Look cool as well.
It's got narrative beats. It's iconic. It plays well. Oh yeah, I like it. And it's even got a nice little shink sound.
Does have a nice little shink.
Next up, we have the energy sword from Halo. Speaking of iconic, but I would put this. I would suggest this was almost as iconic as the Master Sword, but I would say this wins hands down from a gameplay enjoyment feel.
Oh, yeah, because it's essentially your one-hit kill item, isn't it? Like, no matter when whether it's a campaign or multiplayer, this thing, as soon as you hit someone with it, they're dead.
Game over. And now, Steve, I have no idea, but I'm asking you as the resident expert in anything I feel like making you, and right now it's Halo. Can you tell me, in Halo, do you recall any cutscene or anything where somebody puts they've got the energy sword but not turned on in their hand, hold it against someone's... Is it working? Are we back? Fingers crossed, everyone. I'm hopeful. There was a slight hiccup and now we're back. I apologise. There was a brownout in the studio and we had to restart a few things. But I'm hopeful we're back. Steve, hopefully you're still there with us, mate. Hello.
I am back here and it looks like we're back up as well. I can see you. I can see me. I can hear both of us.
Fantastic. We're back. I've hit a button, but that hasn't followed me. Why is that? Oh, I know what's happened. Sorry. I missed one. Steve, tell us things while I fix my error.
No worries. You happy for me to keep going through this list?
Yes, but they can't see anything just for a moment.
They can't see anything, that's okay. They can hear, that's just fine. So I think we're going through the Halo Energy Sword, saying how good it is to play with that sword as well as just look at it. And I think you asked me a question about whether there's any cutscenes or anything, whether you see anyone activate the sword.
Yes, through someone.
And I think there is. I think there is a cutscene where an elite or someone just does use. I think it's the elite against possibly even Master Chief. Maybe in Halo 2 we see that. And I know you do see the thing without the blade when you run out of energy when you're playing multiplayer as well. So
perfect, mate. And we are back and running, and they're seeing the energy sword. Thank you very much, Steve. Energy sword. Yes, correct. All right. And then what are we? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th, the sword cleaver from Bloodborne, I assume. Oh yes, look at that.
Oh, this is iconic. This is Bloodborne. This is the sword that's on the front cover of the game, and I don't think throughout the whole game I changed up my sword very much from this thing. I think I used this for majority of the game, especially on my first playthrough, just upgraded the hell out of it, and didn't really feel the need to change from it.
And how good is the animation with it? And the fushunk as you extend it out.
It's so good. Just the fashink motion, the way it looks is just brilliant. And the way the sword turns from like a quick, very quick melee weapon to a sort of more slow, high damage weapon in the instant that it takes to press the button is just, I think, perfection when it comes to gameplay.
Yeah, it goes from pre-COVID to post-COVID. Get back 1.5 meters, I tell you.
It does. I like it. I love it. I love it. The pre-COVID, post-COVID weapon of choice.
All right, next up is the Lancer from Gears of War, of course. The old chainsaw assault rifle. I got to say, man, I am struggling to think of a better introduced weapon ever. But like, I'm talking like jaw-dropping, how has nobody done this before moment.
Exactly, and it was Gears of War. It was the talk of the town. It was like, why has no one done this before? It's the best combination of melee and shooting that a game has done for a while. Yeah. And it was just so fun to use. Like you hold down that button, the chainsaw like starts, you just run towards your enemy, just chop them in half and blood split over the screen. Just the feedback from this thing. My God, like I know we're talking melee weapons. This thing's a gun, but it is a melee weapon as well.
Oh, yes.
That is a reason it is on this list, because it is an absolute brute of a weapon.
It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I'll just give a sideways shout out to the active reload that this gun introduced. I still love the active reload system. I still think a lot more games should play around with those type of mechanics. They're fantastic. The Lancer, of course, brought in the first active reload. Fantastic.
Hey, Troy, you remember a game of last year that might have won our Game of the Year also had an active reload?
Oh, it sure did. You wouldn't be talking about Returnal, would you, Steve?
No, I would. Active reload in that game was much harder to pull off because there was a lot more going on the screen at any given time. It was there, though.
Yeah, I think it was on about day 2 I found out that mechanic existed.
Yeah, and you'd be forgiven for missing it.
And finally, to round us out, the final melee weapon in this week's standoff. That's right, it's a fish. A fish from Hitman.
What's not more humiliating than being hit in the face with a fish before you get murdered?
It's fantastic. I love that it's a non-lethal weapon that will knock people out from across the room. The one tweak I would request they make is that if you threw, what's that toxic fish that they're like,
blowfish?
Yes, like if you threw a blowfish, it should be a lethal kill.
Yeah, it should. You make them eat that tiny portion they can't eat that tiny portion that's not poisonous, but the rest of it is, and you just throw them and they die.
That'd be amazing. But yes, a big shout out. I love the silliness that Hitman allows for, and the fish is a prime example of the kind of silly antics.
Any weapon in Hitman you can pull for this, but the fish was the most iconic I could think of.
Definitely. I love, and that also has a nice wet thwack sound to it.
That's a nice flack.
A nice flack. Now, for my money, Steve, we're up between the Hidden Blade from Assassin's Creed and the Lancer from Gears of War. But what about yourself? What are you thinking?
Oh, mate, I was actually looking back through the list, and it may not be as iconic because it's only just been introduced in a new version of a game. But in terms of feeling and actually playing a game and using a melee weapon, I'm almost leaning towards the Leviathan axe from God of War.
Whoa, Leviathan axe. Now, you're right, the Leviathan axe, it's the full throw. No, yeah, I'm happy to go with you on that, man. I concede the point. Leviathan Axe, you are our winner of the standoff.
Oi, that was easy. I'm like, it's not iconic. It probably is iconic now. It doesn't quite have the legacy of some of these other ones, but I think in terms of pure gameplay and just that initial feeling that doesn't even end, like by the end of that game, it's still fun to throw and catch that bloody thing.
Yes, you're completely correct, man. You're right. The Lancer is iconic partly for that active reload, but you're right. It's like they moved that active reload fun into the actual attack mechanism. You're right. They've nailed it left, right, and center. I love it.
And to think they even like introduce your old weapons, which are fun as hell to players. You still go back to that axe.
Yeah, definitely. Do we know? Are they giving us a new weapon in the next one?
Haven't heard anything. Wouldn't be surprised if they do, though. There's a lot of God of War 3. You end up with a whole bunch of different weapons, even like Hercules fists and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see another weapon and make its way in. I know we've got some kind of grapple hook mechanic coming to God of War, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a new weapon.
It'd be nice if Master Chief landed and then you just hacked off his hand and stole his grapple hook.
Yeah, bring those two franchises together. With Microsoft, they might just buy Sony next. Who knows?
Oh, what a world we'd live in. All right, Steve, that brings us to audience interrogation. What has been happening in their YouTube chat? And once again, everyone in the YouTube chat, I apologise for the brownout in the studio and the interruption we suffered earlier.
Well, we've got a few people I've never seen before, and they're not really asking questions. They're just saying things. We've got hello from Turkey. We've got Sean Games in there. He's back. He's saying hello, and how are Troy and Steve? And we are good, my friend.
Very well,
and
thank you.
Just a question from JT Gamer is, what do I play, Mass Effect Andromeda, or do I finish the Mass Effect Legacy Edition first?
Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and then just forget Andromeda.
Forget that ever existed. That being said, the gameplay in Andromeda is fun. It's got some good third-person squad-based action gameplay, but the story is not worth writing home about.
No, it's also not worth listening to or experiencing, I would suggest.
Scathing. Play Mass Effect, the original trilogy. You will have much more fun.
Yes. If you want a good story, go play BioShock. There you go. Play the Mass Effect Legendary Edition and then BioShock instead of Andromeda. That's my tip.
Love it.
All right, Steve, that's going to do it for this week, mate, unless there was any random craziness you needed to bring up.
No, mate, any crazy randomness to be held for next week.
Very good. What will you be playing? What can we most expect from you next week, man?
Oh, mate, I don't want to say it, but I'm probably going to be playing a lot more Destiny 2, which I haven't mentioned all night, but I'll be playing a lot of that. I'll be playing Nobody Saves the World, probably playing some Dismantle, and probably, if I've got time, play a little bit of that old Uncharted Legacy Collection.
Oh, yes, the Uncharted Legacy Collection. I can definitely see you getting into that. Have you any desire to play any of the old FromSoft games prior to Elden Ring, mate? Or is that just me being called?
No, I definitely have thought about Demon Souls, giving that a crack. That is probably the only thing I'll go back to, but I'm almost tempted just to go in fresh with Elden Ring, just so I don't want to feel like I've just been there, played that recently. I just want to go straight into a brand new FromSoft game.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I thoroughly enjoy my time, but I completely take your point on it. That will indeed do it for the Gaming Enforcement Agency this week. Thank you very much for viewing, checking out. Check out the rest of the channel. We've, of course, got the Let's Install series and various other videos that you can check out. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Steve, thank you very much, sir.
No worries, mate. Off duty.
And Troy, off duty as well. Thank you very much for watching. YouTube.com/Aloud. Like it, subscribe it.
That's something.
I love everything about it.
Fire express.
Old Uncle Donkey.
Donkey.